I'll let you know when we're live.
All right. You're already on the YouTube channel?
Yep. We're live.
That's pretty cool. Start out
Like an ad or something.
Gotta be making money on advertising. Okay, so we're right on the money. See?
Awesome. Everything's up and running.
Okay, Matt, you want to intro me or I'm all by myself?
Sure. No, I just wanted to say, hey, everybody, welcome on Sunday. Thanks, everybody, for visiting us today and continuing with Mastering the Science of Getting Rich. I haven't been able to be on the last few calls. I've been dealing with seasonal allergies, but I'm here now and I'm happy to be over it to a certain extent. And I'm excited to be on with you guys today. I've missed you guys a lot. I've kind of just been hovering in the background. But today we're going through, what is it, chapter 13, getting into the right business.
I believe so.
So with that said, I want to introduce my dad here, Robert Hollis, the guy that's making this all happen, bringing us all together here and giving us a pathway to success with the science of getting rich. So with that said, Dad, do you want to take over?
Absolutely. I don't ever remember you ever screaming my name unless you were mad at me, but I don't even remember that. So it's
like,
no,
I'm not. I'm pretty quiet in comparison.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and get started. Welcome everyone to the Mastering the Science of Getting Rich. Like Matt said, that and thank you, Matt, for hooking this all up. We're sad that he can't be with us, but he's out having fun with his family, and that's awesome. So what we'll do is like we did before, and I'll go ahead and play this chapter. We'll listen to it, and then we'll all mastermind and if come up with any questions or anything or any comments, we'll go from there. So let me share.
Yeah, and I just want to say too, before you get into it, Dad, to raise your guys' hands, you just hit reactions on the bottom and you can raise your hand if you have something to share. We will also, I'll be looking in chat, and if there's anything in there that maybe you don't want to be on video or you don't want to be on audio, but you want to just share something really quick. Of course, we can't read, paragraphs and paragraphs of how it's going, but please share with us, even if it's a little snippet of how this helped you. So with that said, go ahead, Dad. Thanks.
Yeah, and of course, with the people that are on YouTube, you can go to roberthollis.com/live and jump on live if you would like, or just make any comments and Matt will get them. So
Chapter 13, Getting into the Right Business. Success in any particular business depends, for one thing, upon your possessing in a well-developed state the faculties required in that business. Without good musical faculty, no one can succeed as a teacher of music. Without well-developed mechanical faculties, no one can achieve great success in any of the mechanical trades. Without tact and the commercial faculties, no one can succeed in mercantile pursuits. But to possess in a well-developed state the faculties required in your particular vocation does not ensure getting rich. There are musicians who have remarkable talent and who yet remain poor. There are blacksmiths, carpenters, and so on, who have excellent mechanical ability, but who do not get rich. And there are merchants with good faculties for dealing with men who nevertheless fail. The different faculties are tools. It is essential to have good tools, but it is also essential that the tools should be used in the right way. One man can take a sharp saw, a square, a good plane, and so on, and build a handsome article of furniture. Another man can take the same tools and set to work to duplicate the article, but his production will be a botch. He does not know how to use good tools in a successful way. The various faculties of your mind are the tools with which you must do the work which is to make you rich. It will be easier for you to succeed if you get into a business for which you are well equipped with mental tools. Generally speaking, you will do best in that business which will use your strongest faculties, the one for which you are naturally best fitted. But there are limitations to this statement also. No man should regard his vocation as being irrevocably fixed by the tendencies with which he was born. You can get rich in any business, for if you have not the right talent, you can develop that talent. It merely means that you will have to make your tools as you go along, instead of confining yourself to the use of those with which you were born. It will be easier for you to succeed in a vocation for which you already have the talents in a well-developed state. But you can succeed in any vocation, for you can develop any rudimentary talent, and there is no talent of which you have not at least the rudiment. You will get rich most easily in point of effort if you do that for which you are best fitted. But you will get rich most satisfactorily if you do that which you want to do. Doing what you want to do is life, and there is no real satisfaction in living if we are compelled to be forever doing something which we do not like to do and can never do what we want to do. And it is certain that you can do what you want to do. The desire to do it is proof that you have within you the power which can do it. Desire is a manifestation of power. The desire to play music is the power which can play music seeking expression and development. The desire to invent mechanical devices is the mechanical talent seeking expression and development. When there is no power, either developed or underdeveloped, to do a thing, there is never any desire to do that thing. And where there is strong desire to do a thing, it is certain proof that the power to do it is strong and only requires to be developed and applied in the right way. All things else being equal, it is best to select the business for which you have the best developed talent. But if you have a strong desire to engage in any particular line of work, you should select that work as the ultimate end at which you aim. You can do what you want to do, and it is your right and privilege to follow the business or avocation which will be most congenial and pleasant. You are not obliged to do what you do not like to do, and should not do it except as a means to bring you to the doing of the thing you want to do. If there are past mistakes whose consequences have placed you in an undesirable business or environment, you may be obliged for some time to do what you do not like to do, but you can make the doing of it pleasant by knowing that it is making it possible for you to come to the doing of what you want to do. If you feel that you are not in the right vocation, do not act too hastily in trying to get into another one. The best way, generally, to change business or environment is by growth. Do not be afraid to make a sudden and radical change if the opportunity is presented, and you feel, after careful consideration, that it is the right opportunity. But never take sudden or radical action when you are in doubt as to the wisdom of doing so. There is never any hurry on the creative plane, and there is no lack of opportunity. When you get out of the competitive mind, you will understand that you never need to act hastily. No one else is going to beat you to the thing you want to do. There is enough for all. If one space is taken, another and a better one will be open for you a little farther on. There is plenty of time. When you are in doubt, wait. Fall back upon the contemplation of your vision and increase your faith and purpose. And by all means, in times of doubt and indecision, cultivate gratitude. A day or two spent in contemplating the vision of what you want and in earnest thanksgiving that you are getting it will bring your mind into such close relationship with the Supreme that you will make no mistake when you do act. There is a mind which knows all there is to know, and you can come into close unity with this mind by faith and the purpose to advance in life if you have deep gratitude. Mistakes come from acting hastily or from acting in fear or doubt, or in forgetfulness of the right motive, which is more life to all and less to none. As you go on in the certain way, opportunities will come to you in increasing number, and you will need to be very steady in your faith and purpose and to keep in close touch with the All Mind by reverent gratitude. Do all that you can do in a perfect manner every day, but do it without haste, worry, or fear. Go as fast as you can, but never hurry. Remember that in the moment you begin to hurry, you cease to be a creator and become a competitor. You drop back upon the old plane again. Whenever you find yourself hurrying, call a halt. Fix your attention on the mental image of the thing you want and begin to give thanks that you are getting it. The exercise of gratitude will never fail to strengthen your faith and renew your purpose. Chapter.
Okay, awesome. So there are a couple of things I wanted to share with you guys and on a personal level here. Throughout my life, I have done things and paid money and paid for incredible coaches, believing that that's what I wanted to do. So from becoming an author to becoming a speaker to becoming a person that does group coaching and one-on-one coaching, I've reached out and I've done those things and I thought I wanted to do them and I didn't want to do them. But I was doing them because I thought that I didn't like where I was. So let me get that. So when I first got involved in network marketing, the reason I did well, it's funny, I was listening to Jefferson Santos' message today. He asked me to do a couple of videos for his new system that he's putting together. And when I listened to his story, I didn't know that for the first 9 years, he didn't make any money in network marketing. So it was pretty amazing. He said for the first 2 years, I think that he only sponsored 4 people in 2 years. So, you know, and me personally, I'm going to tell you guys that I sort of tricked myself, and that's why I got successful so quick. And please listen to this. So for years, I envisioned being a crew chief for either an IndyCar or a NASCAR. That's where I was going. And to be brutally honest, there was absolutely nothing that was going to stop me. I knew that that's what I was doing. So then when I get hurt and have to have 2 operations on my knee and I'm on workman's comp and no electricity, I get exposed to this industry, right? And again, it's bizarre to me that there's so many different names. You know what I mean? It's like whether you're negative or positive, you know, pyramid marketing, scam, or network marketing, or multi-level, or direct sales. You really understand that people don't understand if there's a lot of names for it. But marketing, very simply, is taking a product or service and actually getting it from the people that create it or innovate it and getting it to the people that are willing to spend money for it. And so if I can be the middle person between that. So why did I do so well? I don't think a lot of people get this, but when I met my mentor, the things that I said to him is, please just tell me the things I need to do to earn income. Why did I say that? Because at that moment in time, I was treating this industry of marketing as temporary. I had yet to put I wasn't interested in being a speaker. I wasn't interested in being on stage. I wasn't interested in speaking at all. I was going to hit the top position in that company, which I did. And 9 months, I hit super in 9 months, brand new in this industry. And here's why. I had no desire to have that top position. And you're going to hear this in a minute. So my goal was A, to make money before I got, evicted. 2, to pay down my debt. And 3, to put me in a financial situation until I recovered and did my knee so I could go back and be a crew chief. So why am I bringing that up to you? I'm bringing it up to you because I believe in my heart and soul that a majority of the people that find this industry believe they got to be great on at a lot of stuff you do not have to even do. I'll say that again. So people get in this business, and instead of just focusing on it generating you income and duplicating so you can do what you were really called to do. So if you guys have been doing the assignments, you're starting to get a very clear vision of things you're going to experience 3 years from now. What if you could do that in a business, but because you don't want to be sidetracked, for a better word, that you only learn to do the things that make you money and give you freedom? See, I look at this business way different than a lot of people. So I don't have to learn things from Tony Robbins. I don't need to learn things from Bob Proctor. I don't need to learn things from Jeff Roberti. There's all these people out there that do these trainings like Ray Higdon and Todd Falcone and Danny Johnson and Rob Sperry and Brandon Fraser. There's all these people that teach a lot of stuff that I never had to do to make millions of dollars in this industry. So when you get in and you don't believe in what you want to do, then it allows you, again, that phrase, if you don't stand for something, you'll fall for anything. And because you don't have a clear vision of where you want to be and the emotions that you're going through 3 years from now on how to obtain that, there's a lot of people that are learning to be very good therapists, authors, coaching, group coaching. I got to learn to do an effective presentation. I got to learn the steps of success so I could teach that. I got to train other people. Don't you think it's very difficult to train other people how to get success when you haven't done it yet? Okay, so I gotta learn what to do next. I guess I got to be a speaker. I got to give a good presentation. I think I said that already. I got to be good at sales. I got to be good at prospecting. I got to be good at closing. I got to be good at personalities. It's like how much stuff can be thrown at you that you got to learn. And now 3 things happen in your mind. I'm overwhelmed. I'm confused. I'm frustrated. I'm stuck. I'm missing something. And this is freaking going to take forever. That wasn't true for me because I only wanted to know what I needed to do to make money in this industry. I didn't want to be all those. I got forced on stage 18 months after I was in this industry. On stage. I was going to be the only national marketing director in National Safety Associates without wearing a suit. Wasn't interested, rode a motorcycle every day back and forth to work, still got a motorcycle, had the mullet, not interested. So I remember saying to my mentor, do I have to be on stage? No. Freaking awesome. Do I have to do presentations and trainings? No. Awesome. I believe a lot of people that watch this video live or recorded are not clearly defined on who they want to be and what they're doing 3 years from now. So you're not getting there because you're doing a lot of stuff that you don't need to be doing. How many people have seen how big my my following is on TikTok. I don't spend any time there. Twitter, don't have a Twitter account. Had one, shut it down. Instagram, no. LinkedIn, I think I got like 7,800 people that follow me on LinkedIn. I go there maybe once a week. Don't even go back and forth because I just get pitched on stuff. Hey, you'd be perfect for a job, not interested. So I'm still to this day just very good. When I found this company to generate revenue, it was only for two reasons. You guys know what it is. You guys got to get clear on this. One, wow, not by accident that we're talking about this and Matt's here. I could tell Matthew was unhappy. We wasn't getting the results as fast as we needed, basically doing what Ray Higdon does. Now, I have made a mental decision, and a lot of people probably don't want to do this, but you know, for things to go great in the Hollis household and run our company is right around $60,000 a month. Now, people are going, why so much? Well, as you guys know, 28,000 of that is paid in taxes. So the more you make, the more you got to give the government. And I'm not one of those guys that want to figure it out at the end of the year. So I have big hunks like $9,000 a week taken out of our accounts to pay all the corporate taxes and our personal taxes. So some of you are going, I'm not interested in paying and employ all my family. That's okay. But I've always wanted to do something with Matthew. So when we stepped out of the network marketing world and tried to duplicate what Brendan Burchard did, or Frank Kerr did, or Alex Jeffries did, or Ray Higdon did, when we made those attempts to do that, I did it because I just thought that was the next level. That would be the next thing that I need to do, and hated every moment of it. So why am I telling you this? If you don't like it, you're probably not going to do it. And if you do it, you're probably not going to be consistent and good at it. So Matt, watch me. I printed up the script that I was supposed to say to the people that were reaching out to me to be coaching. And I was going to share with them all their pains so I can share with all their glories. How many of you that are on here went through Six-Figure Marketer with me? Okay, we got Dana. I thought Lisa was in the end of that. Of course, Melody it was. But you guys got to understand that I not only made the shift, but I did everything that's required. And we made good money, but we never made a consistent $30,000 a month. So now to take care of the whole entire family, I'm sort of going in the hole. Or you could do one other thing not to go in the hole, not pay taxes. And, you know, sooner or later, that's going to catch up to you. So it was this conversation with Matt and I putting a lot of effort and time in it, where we realized that it wasn't fun. It wasn't rewarding. The stuff that Matt and I spent so much time learning and mastering seemed to just consistently change. You know, and the main thing about that industry that people don't realize is that the Ray Higdons of the world, the Eric Worreys of the world, the Rob Sperrys of the world, the Brendan Frasers of the world, these guys spend pretty close to 50% of their profits on advertising. Because how else are you going to find people to buy your stuff and buy your training and buy your monthly stuff? So Matt and I were making good money, but we were spending the majority of it on advertising. And then Facebook advertising would change, and then it would change again, and then it would change again. And it came to the point where my son and I had a conversation, and he felt sort of stuck that we had to continue to do this to support all of us. And that's when I said, no, I know how to do something else that I'm willing to go back to. So we don't have to do this. As soon as my mind opened up, I became open-minded. Bam. Terry tells me she's running out of CBD. I'm on it like a banshee, searching, most documented CBD, find HempWorks, signed up with Jenna's link, and off we are to the races. So Matt was one reason, but my wife was the other reason. Because as soon as the leads started coming in or the signups started coming in, my wife said to me, listen, maybe you and Matt can help me with this little business that we're doing. And that's how we ended up to where we are today. All right. So I wanted to share with you guys that if you don't like doing something and you're doing it for the money because you need money to make your vision come true, you're not doing it right. You listening to me? Because a lot of you are doing what you feel is your best in this industry of marketing, and the results are not happening for you because there's not one damn thing you like about it. Nothing. So you really only have two things that you got to work on. Is what is the things that you hate about it? Be honest. To be honest with you, I don't like people. I really don't. I think people are just the biggest pain in the ass that you can find. And there's the joke that lies within this industry. What is the best thing about this industry? People. What is the worst thing about this industry? People. Now, Matt knows me and Melody knows me. A lot of you are getting to know me. Do you guys think I love people? See, I love people. I really, truly love people. And even if they don't see what I'm doing or understand that I'm trying to help them, I just look at them as being the wrong place at a wrong time. And I will find the people to make that happen. So the altered dream that I want is to make a massive impact. If I look at, people like Jim Rohn and Bob Proctor, and I really love what they've done. And when Jim shared with me that you'll live, you'll die twice, once when you're done breathing here on this planet, the second when people stop saying your name. I really, truly believe that I've worked on myself enough that I have some concepts, some philosophies, some beliefs that I can share with other people to get them to find their vision. And it inspires them to move forward to do what they want to do in their life. And just know that as you're focused on that, it's okay that it changes, but you need the business that you're in. And the title of this video, you need getting into the right business to sort of go in line with where your vision is. So if you were asking me, if you said, Robert, listen, I network marketing is where I want to be, that this is where I want to be, then you need to shift your personality or your philosophy, your belief, to use the parts of this industry that get you to your dream. I don't know if you guys realize that if you're traveling from where you are right now to Cancun, like Terry and I are going to do on Tuesday, right? There's a lot of ways that you could get there. And some of them is like, you wouldn't have to go, all right, well, I'd love to fly there. I don't want to drive there. Okay, great. So I guess the first thing I need to do is figure out where I can get my pilot's license. Did you guys catch that's what most people do? They go, I would love to fly there. Okay, then I guess I got to get my pilot's license. And I don't know if I got the time and the money to get my pilot's license. And you're going, why do you need a pilot's license? Because I want to fly there. You ever think about flying there and letting someone else fly? What? Yeah, you can let someone else fly the plane, just become a passenger. Now, I know every one of you go, that sounded so stupid. No, that's not the way people think. They don't think right away, I should let somebody else drive. I should let somebody else fly and just become a passenger. That's the way I've done this business for 36 years. Don't you guys get it? I let someone else fly the plane. I become the passenger and just become the best affiliate that I can be. Promoting, giving them praise and recognition, and putting everyone in front of that system. You guys catching that? If I wanted to take it to the next level, then I'm going to have to do the stuff that Josh and Jenna do. Do I want to do that? No, what if I could find a way to create other streams of income like a YouTube channel? And I could teach the things that I know that will change anybody's business, regardless if they get in this business or not. And I can get a lot of people to check my stuff out by doing a TED Talk. Maybe writing another book. Maybe Matt and I work on some creative intellectual property that we own, that people would like to use to help them get to their vision and goals. Now, as I introduce people to this, I believe a lot of them are going to go, well, I really don't know how to generate the extra funds and the freedom to make my dream come true. Listen, I have a business model that I'm pretty good at. And if you do it the way I do it, it will generate you cash flow and it will be hands off. It will be hands off and you'll have that freedom to go pursue the vision that you want to create. Was that as clear as mud to you guys? See, it's like, so what's the step one before we move on? A very clear vision of what you want in 3 years. Because then and only then, with belief and faith and moving forward, are you going to get exposed to the unlimited amount of opportunities that are available to make this happen. I know Matt read the whole article, but we were on here talking about the people that are training the AI gave the AI, artificial intelligence, $60 and said, listen, go out and create as much money as you can with it. From the videos that I watched of a couple of people, the first thing the AI did after it did all the research, this is artificial intelligence, it's not a human being, is they were trying to enroll and sign up in an affiliate program. Because it knew that if it could find something to sell, and then all they had to do is share their affiliate link and let a human being sell them all the values and benefits. They're trying to look for the easiest way. And the AI is not interested in being John Tier. So when me and Matt were, playing around with AI, I don't think I said this on a video. Me and Matt, I said, Matt, put in artificial intelligence. How's the fastest way to make $1 million? And it came back and said, start an illegal pyramid. Do a gifting program. How's it going? Matt, ask it what it could do to make $1 million the fastest and still be legal.
No, I took the guardrails off of it for that answer. So that's not the normal answer it would give you.
But Matt, why don't you add on if you have anything? And then
no, I mean, I think what you shared is great, Dad. I have a few things. I just think, like my dad said, a vision is required, and knowing where you want to go and what you want to be is very important. And like reflecting on what that is very important. But you have to understand too, like I'm learning this in my own life through chapters like this. And it's interesting, even this chapter reminded me about a chapter in Rich Dad, Poor Dad, where he talks about going and taking jobs that you're passionate about, not because they'll lead to where you want to be, but to accumulate the skills that are required to get to where you want to be.
Great point.
So, you know, a lot of people are looking at where they are right now and they're like, maybe you don't have a passion for network marketing, but this business builds people skills like no other if you allow it to. And it also forces you to build yourself up, which is a requirement to get to where you want anyway. So it's one of those industries that really is going to force you to do certain things that may be uncomfortable. And like my dad said, you don't have to do all of them. You know, you don't have to go do live meetings or go do any of this stuff, but you do have to communicate with people for it to work. And communication is so important, right? And communication, a lot of people think is like it's a learned skill of growth, personal growth. You know, you learn how to communicate, you learn how to let people finish talking, hear their points, and respond to them with kindness and with heart and understanding. That's not something that you're automatically wired to do. And if you grew up in an environment that wasn't an emotional one or didn't teach you how to do that, how to regulate or manage emotions, emotions are taught. So you learned from your environment, which means you might have to unlearn some things and you might have to learn some other things. And that's what this industry can do too, or just anything that you go after. So you do need passion in life, but I don't know. As I've been reading more books, I'm a huge fan of meditations and stoicism. I don't know if life really needs purpose necessarily. And this is something I've been dealing with myself because my purpose has changed. Your purpose will change. And with it, your passion might wane. Like your passion might go away because your purpose is now, I want to have a family. When you were maybe in your early 20s, you're like, I don't really care for that right now. I'd rather build a big business. Or I'd rather do this or that.
I want to focus on my career.
Right. That purpose in life might change. But what you should remind yourself of in those situations is to continue trying to find something that you can be passionate about and put yourself there. Because the moment that you're going down river and you're in a river of passion and you start grabbing rocks and fighting the current, you know, sometimes those rivers are going to run out and you're going to be in a bed and you got to get out. You got to go get in another river to have fun in and go down. And that's perfectly fine and acceptable because you have to remember that you're accumulating personal skills and growth, not wealth. Wealth comes with those things. If you see anyone that's successful, a majority of people that are successful, it's because they accumulated the skills and develop personal development to get themselves there. And if you make money your number one goal instead of personal growth, you're going to get money and you might get money, but you won't have the growth to come with it. And with that, you'll spoil the money. And you've seen people do this. They'll use it to buy drugs. They'll use it to go party. They'll blow through it. A lot of people that are sports get large contracts with sports. A lot of them retire and they go broke because they get used to spending the money that they have and not using it on growth, as where you'll have people like Shaquille O'Neal, other famous people that will take that money, grow themselves, and leverage what they have to build something bigger, right? And you can only do that with understanding, and that understanding comes with growth. So it's just good to remember that you're here, you're put on this planet for self-discovery and to share that self-discovery. So just keep that in mind. It's like this book's really about self, right? Every single chapter we've been going through is how do I build myself up so I can be wealthy? Why do you think it's that way? Why do you think it's not like, here's the top 10 ways to get wealthy? That's not in this book. And the reason that's not in this book is because Wallace Wattles is aware that the personal growth needs to happen to become wealthy. It doesn't happen the other way around. So if you're being challenged, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. That means the river is still flowing. When it's dead and you're not flowing downriver and you're stagnant, then you got to get in another river. But once it starts getting hard, you better not start grabbing onto rocks, because if you start grabbing onto rocks, you might drown. You know, something might happen to you, and you get stuck in that situation where you're just holding on and you feel exhausted and you want to give up. You want to let go and allow yourself to drown instead of just swimming downstream until it stops. So just flow like water, like Bruce Lee would say, right? I love that quote from Bruce Lee because it's so true. And the older I've gotten, the more wiser I've gotten, the more it reigns true. Like, just flow, just allow life to come to you, flow with it. Stop trying to control it so much. And this is like, I'm a control freak. So in that situation where my dad describes that story, I was not flowing. I was holding on to rocks. And I was going, how can I control this situation? And the moment that my dad was like, let's just flow downstream and see where it takes us. Here we are. That's how it happens. If we would have held onto those rocks, we probably would be here with you guys, but you guys would probably be paying us. And it would make this whole experience completely different, wouldn't it?
Totally.
So love and appreciate you guys. That's all I have to share.
Thank you. Thank you, Matthew. That was good stuff, man. That was really good stuff.
Yeah,
that's
thanks,
my
guys.
son. How many people, man? He's 31 years old, man. He's like, man, he's
I definitely got, you know, I got the fast start training on it in a lot of ways. I'm grateful for that, you know, and I think people coming to this wisdom now and being here and having the opportunity to learn from my father and even share the stuff that he's been sharing in these, we've talked about a lot as far as him sharing, but this is like the first time I've really, really seen you, Dad, just like share the stuff only me and you would talk about.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, wow, the comfortability that exists in this group. Why? Because like in an AA meeting or anything else, when everyone's sharing and being honest and being truthful and being open and sharing their hearts with one another, it becomes really easy to do that yourself. And we've seen people that have followed us and have never said a word ever on camera or anything, get on these and get on camera and share their hearts for the first time. And I'm like, I'm so glad that we're building an environment where people feel comfortable to do that, especially in today's day and age. So I thank every single one of you guys for being here. It's so amazing to have you guys here. Thank you, Dad, for building this and continuing to help us all grow. I love and appreciate you. So back to you, Dad.
Aww. Well, we're definitely doing this together. So it's like Matt and I are going to consistently find more ways to impact people because that's what we love to do. And so, and that's awesome. Thank you, Matt. I love and appreciate you as well.
So do you want me to host from here on out?
If you want.
Sure. I mean, all I'm going to be doing is asking people to lift their hands or anyone that has their hands raised. So anybody that's on YouTube and watching us, you can go to roberthollis.com/live and hop on here on this Zoom and talk to us if you want to. If you're on here and you want to share how this chapter has impacted you or the development you've had so far with the science of getting rich, or even what my dad or I've shared so far, you've gotten wisdom from, or something you want to add to that, you can raise your hand by clicking the reactions on the bottom of the screen here and then clicking raise hand. So what we're going to do is we're going to go through each person and allow them to share. And if you want to do that yourself, you should. I think that it really would help people care. It's always a surprise, the different styles that people see it. So with that said, I'm going to ask Bill to unmute. Bill was the first one to raise his hand. No surprise there. Bill is very speedy with raising his hand. And that's because he has stuff to share. So
thank you, Matthew. And my goodness, that was a beautiful share that you did. I mean,
thanks, Bill.
Amazing. Way beyond your years. That is for sure.
Thank you.
Thanks to,
I've always felt that way, so I appreciate that.
Thanks to the man who has created 67 millionaires, helped millions of people create extra income in their lives, teaches with his heart, the man, the myth, the legend, Robert Hollis. Hey, did I cut out?
Thank you, Bill.
No, it went all the way through.
Oh, I adjusted my, like Craig tell, I was working on my controls, so I was doing my version of Craig, so that was the best I could do.
It was good.
Thanks for bringing that
Thank you
energy.
for doing that.
Thanks for bringing that energy.
Yeah, and yeah, what an amazing this whole course has been incredible, Robert. I mean, oh my God. I mean, my mindset and my excitement and enthusiasm for life, my ability to sleep at night now is just through the roof. This has just been incredible. So what I get, or what I got from this one is, and from you is, if the business you want to be in, if it's a people business, you better like people.
Yeah.
Right. If you don't like people, then get into be an auto mechanic, right? Or a plumber or something like that. Who knows?
Or a person in sales. I think the biggest thing that people don't realize, Bill, about building a voluntary group of entrepreneurs is not about sales.
Right.
So they come from that quadrant, you know, I'm a consumer and I work a job. So I work to make money. I take that money and I buy things. So then they get in this industry and they're trying to get people that are non-sales types to be sales types. And so the common thing they keep not learning is I bring people in, they don't do anything, they leave. That's pretty much sounds like the definition of insanity to me. So I'm going to sell some stuff and I'm going to have some customers disappear. And then I'm going to get some people in, try to teach them to do sales. They get confused. They don't make any money. They leave. So I got this constant people coming in, going out, coming in, going out, coming in, going out. And it's like, that's not this business. And so in this business, I hope you guys are getting that if you were going to do this business, then the goal is to build a connection with somebody, get to know, like, and trust them, and get them to understand, well, what do you really want? What's your magic number? What are we trying to create? Because as soon as you help someone lock into a vision of something they want to do for themselves or people that they love, and they can get in that emotional state, the how becomes the easiest part of this. When I run into people that are telling me that they need a script and that they're contacting people and they're going through the numbers and they're talking about all this how stuff and that it's not working, that's a person with no vision, no inspiration. And I can tell right away that they're focused on the wrong stuff. So my mentor was good at painting a picture for me, getting me enrolled in that picture, including getting my finances in a place where I could buy my girlfriend a ring, fly to Montana and propose to her. And hopefully she would give me a second chance and we could start a family. That was part of the stuff that I needed to do. And it happened very fast for me because that's what I needed the money for. That's what I needed everything for. I didn't need to learn to be a presenter. I didn't need to learn to be a teacher. I didn't need, see what I mean? Wait a minute. Are you telling me I can get excited, tell people you make money, and then get them in front of you and you'll do the rest? Yeah, got it. And still to this day, no one puts more people in the seats than me. People don't know that there's a little competitive side of me, that we're all going to the mastermind next week, right? When we're sitting in that mastermind, I will have more people there than any other individual. And have since I got in the company. I got more people on stage. I got more people on the leaderboard. And I don't care if those people give me credit. Some of them haven't figured it out yet, in my opinion. So they're still being the deal and they're still doing things that I don't do. And they don't know why they suffer. It's pretty interesting. So Bill, thank you so much for that nice intro. I really appreciate it. And
well, thank you for dumbing it down for us. It's like that guy that taught you went on stage. Do you want to make money? Yes, no.
Yeah.
That's it.
You know what my favorite TED Talk is? My favorite TED Talk is not only at one time was one of the most watched TED Talks, but it was also the shortest TED Talk. And Bill, all this guy did is he came out and he had a shoe with him, a tennis shoe. And he comes out and he ties the shoe in front of everybody. And he goes, how many people know how to tie a shoe? How many people have taught people how to tie a shoe? And he ties it. And as soon as he ties it, he grabs the strings that go into the shoe and he starts to pull them. Immediately, the bow turns sideways. And then when it turned sideways, he kept pulling on it and letting go, pulling on it and letting go. And all of a sudden, the bow let go. And he says, has anybody here had to retie their shoe? And he says, that's because you're tying the knot wrong. So now we're going to do this really slow. And he does the loops and he said, instead of going around this way, we're going to go around the other way. Pulls the knot. Then he puts his finger in it. And as he pulled it, the harder he pulled, the tighter the knot got. The bow did not move. And he says, if you tie your shoelaces correct, they'll never come untied. So now here's the funny part of the story. 99% of the people that watch this video live or recorded, now you know what you're doing wrong. And guess what? You're not going to do a damn thing about it.
I'm like, it's funny that you brought that video up because I definitely still tie my shoes the wrong way, even though I've seen that video.
So you see it.
Like, I'll go find it.
And because it doesn't feel comfortable going the other way. And he says, does anybody know why everybody ties their shoes wrong? He says, I'll tell you why. The person that taught you how to tie your shoe is backwards. They're in front of you. And they put your little shoe up on their lap and they tie the bow. And they're doing it backwards. So now when you do it the wrong way. So what do? You teach everyone you know how to tie their frickin' shoe wrong. And everybody's mad. Hey, can I tie your shoe for you? Hey, don't trip on your shoelaces. You know what I mean? Oh my God, I can't get. See, as soon as someone shows you how to do it, who immediately sits down and goes, I'm going to keep doing this until I get the right way down. I know it feels uncomfortable. I've been tying my shoes for 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90 years. I know I've been doing it wrong. Or you just do like I do. You know, put on shoes where you don't have shoelaces. You know what I mean?
Problem solved.
Yeah, problem solved. But Bill, thank you very much for bringing that up. Back to you, Matt.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill.
Thank you for teaching us how to tie our shoes.
Yep, I posted those links in both the chats to the how to tie your shoes. It's 3 minutes long. So
3 minutes. Isn't that
yeah. It's great, but I definitely will rewatch it after I'm done here and practice. So I was just the other day, my shoe was coming untied and I'm like, am I not tying these tight enough? Like, no, I'm tying them wrong.
Yeah, it's just
Right.
the loop goes the other direction.
Right. Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Bill. And thank you, Dad.
You bet.
Next up in line with their hands raised is Lisa Marie. I'm going to ask you to unmute. Are you with us, Lisa?
I sure am. Hey, guys.
Hi, Lisa.
Hey.
How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Matthew, that was phenomenal. And
thank you.
Robert, you're welcome. I gotta thank you again. I mean, you have raised the vibration in my house, like off the roof. So I'm super excited about that. But I do, I want to kind of talk about vision a little bit because, my husband and I kind of veered off on our visions, how you kind of grow together and your dreamscape together. I can't get him to
Agree with you.
Well, I don't know, but
Hey, don't worry about your vision. Make mine come true.
you're doing. That's not necessarily true because
I'm
do keep
I'm joking.
I do keep his vision in mind.
Okay. But
And he's already kind of got his vision. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So it's like I'm kind of out here in La La Land or whatever, and I can't get him to even think my way.
You
Do you know what I
don't
mean?
need him.
But wouldn't that be so much nicer?
No,
Really?
no. I do not want my wife
That's
involved.
what I was gonna ask. Do you guys have the same vision? You and
Yes,
Terry?
the big ones.
Well, see, that's kind of what I'm getting at, that big one, you know, the
No, that's your
ultimate.
big one.
Okay.
All right. So me and my wife's big one is we want a place where all the family can come and stay. All the kids, all the grandkids. And, you know, it's really, really nice. We want to go on vacations and bring the whole family with us where we can have all those nice experiences. And the dreams that we had prior to that was that we always wanted to generate money to make memories that took your breath away. That's both of our dreams, right? Terry's got a really strong vision of what kind of home she wants and where she wants it. I am not part of that vision. I am the person that will generate the funds to make sure her dream comes true. Terry has certain cars he likes to drive. I will make the money to make sure that she gets to drive those cars. Matt and Hannah have a place they love to live. I'm going to focus on making sure that they don't have to downsize. And Matt also, I know you're going to jump in here. There was a time, Lisa, and maybe I should just let Matt take over. In fact, that's exactly what I'm being told to do. And I'll tell you why, Lisa. There was a time, and Matt can tell you why you feel the way you feel. Because Matt's super excited and is, you know, wrote scripts and wrote stuff and really in the movie things and loves to be a storyteller. And he's even got genres of stories. And he tries to share that vision with Mom and I. And we're like, hey, I don't know what the hell you're talking about. You know, and there was at a time where that hurt Matt. He was honest enough to say, hey, Dad, I bring up what I'm doing, what I'm focused on, what I want to create. And it's like, you don't have any excitement or enthusiasm about it at all.
Yeah.
So Matt, why don't you talk about that?
No, yeah, we've definitely, me and my dad have had talks as I've gotten older and through the years, Lisa Marie, and it's, I think like one of the biggest realizations of my life is that trying in any way to control somebody that's completely different than me is a waste of my time. And my goal is to be so inspirational that they're like, I want to be part of that. Right? So the opposite, what can happen is instead of me going, Mom and Dad, why don't you read my scripts? Why don't you like be interested in what I'm interested in? Like as if they ever were interested in it. That's why it's mine, right? That's why it feels so good to me, because it's mine. Well, if the movie's premiering and I send them tickets, they'll probably come to the premiere and see it, right?
Would they?
Yeah, and even if they didn't, Lisa Marie, I've thought about that, even though I know that's impossibly not going to happen. But I've thought about that, and I've thought, if I finish something that was important to me in the development of who I am in my life, why do I need anyone else to cheer that development on other than myself? Does it feel any better than me cheering myself on? It's like, truthfully, the reason we ask people for compliments or fish for compliments is because we want to hear something that we truthfully want to believe in ourselves from them.
I agree.
They're our mirror. They're people too, and they have their own aspects and their own mirroring thing that they got going on. So it's like, you know, like why would I want to give my parents a script that I'm rewriting and isn't completely finished of an idea that I have? Are they going to sit down and read 300 hundreds of pages of it then? It's like, and then I'm upset by that. If I'm
Me
upset by
too.
that,
Me too. It hurts my
right.
feelings.
Well, if
Yeah.
I'm upset by that, it's because I'm asking a person that's not me to be interested in something and care about it as much as I do.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a control thing. Because I want everybody to be
Say
like
that
me, because that would
again.
be
Yeah,
easier,
say that
right?
again, Matt, really
Yeah,
slow.
it's a control thing. Because if
Mhm.
I truthfully, all I want is for everybody to be like me, because life would be so much easier if everybody was like me. But the truth of that is if
Oh,
they
sure.
treated me and thought the same way I thought in that experience, it would be an awful experience if everybody was like me.
That's true. That makes a lot of sense.
So
Yeah.
really, the only thing that you can do in life is just try your best to
Mhm.
develop yourself as a person and put yourself in positions where that can happen.
Right.
And that's not always financial. That's not always spiritual. It's not always personal even. Sometimes you put yourself in experiences that have nothing to do with you and you grow from them,
Mhm.
right? You learn from
Yeah.
someone else having an experience and sharing with you. So if that's the reason that we're here and every single time we try to control one another, shit goes awry, then why don't we just stop doing that?
Right.
I'm seeing so
Amen.
much discourse and fighting happening right now because other people want to control what other people can do. And
Yeah.
I live in the United States. I was born and raised here. One of the things I love about the United States is if everything goes according to plan, I should get to do a majority of what I want. Right?
Mhm.
And if other people go, well, I want to control you and that's not the way it's supposed to be, what do we start doing? Instead of going, well, no, I don't see that the way that it's supposed. I don't want it to be that way. That's not what I signed up for. That's not what I was born into. What we do is go, well, if you're going to control some of my stuff, I'm going to control some of your stuff.
Yep.
Don't we? Oh my gosh.
And
Yeah,
then
we
that
do.
starts this vicious pattern
Mhm.
where we eventually, there's no other way for it to go but to collapse.
Right.
Because we're really
Right.
not, they're never going to bend to our will. Every person's completely different. So we're talking about 8 billion different people. So it's like, yeah, you can really get stuck in a pattern of that. And it's like the best
Mhm.
thing you could do, Lisa Marie, is go do the thing that you want to do with your
Right.
life. And your
Mhm.
husband's going to be so jacked because he's going to see how excited and happy you are that he's going to
Mhm.
want to share that with you.
Right.
But I was
That's
stuck in this
right.
pattern for a long
Mhm.
time of like, I needed to write something and then I needed that mirror. I need someone to read it to tell me that it's good so then I can move forward with what I already wanted to do.
What is that? Our ego? It's got to be, right? Or
Well, I
it
think
look
it's interesting because, of course, I think ego is involved in it. We want people to tell us how great we are because it feels good, and it sometimes that's all you can run on if you don't have self-confidence is other people's opinions of you. But if you
I think he just
train
nailed it
yourself,
right
yeah,
there.
if you train yourself to survive off of that, then what happens when it's negative?
Right. Exactly.
Now you can't survive anymore.
You
So
are
you need
way
to
smarter than your years, boy.
Well, like I just try my best to share what comes to me, just like
Yeah.
you guys are, right?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I think the less I've tried to control, I wasn't always, people have been saying to me, man, you're so wise. It's like, I wasn't, even if you see wisdom in this, I wasn't always this way. This has been a continuous process. I used to be one of the most controlling of the things that I was doing out of anyone I knew.
There wasn't too long ago, without getting into details, where Matt, I think you guys will be married 9 years. And there was a time where Matt was probably one of the most unhappiest people I've ever met.
Right.
Because he wanted to control everything.
The business that I was in, the relationships that I had, everything needed to go my way as best as possible because that would mitigate any damage to me if it just went my way. But the truth is that just opens you up to more damage because it's never going to go your way. So, right. The only way it can go your way is if it's for yourself because you get to decide for yourself. At least a majority of us do. So
yeah.
Like, why not live there?
Yeah. And when Matt was in that mentality, his relationships with me and his mom weren't good. His relationship with Hannah wasn't good. His relationship with his brothers wasn't good.
Right.
And at one time, Matt was not only probably, super negative, but he even had these labels that he was putting on himself, that he was too selfish. He's a narcissist, and a majority of the people on the planet, would never, ever like him. He really kept putting himself in a worse and worse and worse hole.
Well, we tend to do that, right? Because you're like
Yeah,
trying
we all
your
do that.
best. Yeah,
We all
you're
do
trying
that.
your best to keep control, so it's everybody else's fault.
Oh,
Because
no kidding.
that keeps control on my end. I get to still control things
Right.
if I don't take any personal responsibility for my own destiny.
You just said something that made me think, I always thought Fred was the controlling one. He had, but no.
That's exactly how, like that's most relationships, I think. And it's the only thing that you can do is look internally and say to myself, like say to yourself, is what I'm doing right now currently getting me the results that I want? It for me first, because you have to take care of yourself first. You have better relationships when you do that with people. So now I have a incredible relationship with my wife. I have an incredible relationship with my parents and my brothers and my friends. And that's because I started listening to them instead of talking over them. I started understanding where they were coming from because they're different than me. And I don't need them to be anything. I'm grateful for what they are and what they give me in my life. And if I don't have something that I personally need from them, I don't ask it of them. I go and find it somewhere else. And if they want to give that to me, that's the truth. It's like, it's funny because I'm just going on a rant now. I hope you guys are enjoying it. But
no, this is good.
For so long, it's like I wanted everybody to like the same stuff that I liked, and I would be the world's best salesperson at getting them to watch it and enjoy it. And then if they didn't enjoy it or didn't like it the way that I liked it, then I thought lesser of them for not understanding it the way that I understood it. So books, movies, personal development, anything, right?
And business it's like opportunities.
Business opportunities, right?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Wow.
So you just keep flowing, Lisa Marie, and
that
just
was really
allow
deep, Matt.
Well,
that
coming
was
to me,
very
so.
wise and very deep.
That was awesome. I just knew that I could turn that over to Matt because
for sure. And look I have been married this year 42 years. I would say I have a little bit of experience when it comes to, but there's nobody on here, I think, other than maybe Melody even knows who Fred is, until Robert does now too.
Yeah.
But getting him on that I never in a million years thought that would ever happen. And now he's my little cheerleader back here. And just, in fact, he called, he says, I'm not going to make it. Tell Robert I said hi.
That's so awesome. And when you deconstruct that, Lisa Marie, and look back at how that happened, did it happen similar to what I was talking about? From that inspiration part, and seeing how well you were doing and how open you've been, and he's going, wow, like, and that honestly, like my wife went through so much personal development and work on herself at such an extreme level. I won't go into detail from what she's been through. And that, I'm like, if I do half of that, I still don't feel like I deserve her, just because of how much growth she's had.
And he does, he sees that. Because
it inspired me so much.
Yeah.
But then I started on that path. Like my dad talked about, I was in a dark, different place. And I had two options: grow or die. Like those are the,
Matt,
to that level of extreme,
without going into detail, Matt, I know this will give away anything, but there was a part where Matt mentally felt, wait a minute, I do everything for my wife. I do everything for my parents. I've always sacrificed and helped these people and was always there. Now, why aren't they there for me?
Yeah, you use that stuff.
Yeah.
Which means if you set yourself up that way, here's what ends up happening. When you go, why aren't they there for me? And you even are saying that to them. Doesn't it make every single thing you've ever done great for them a transaction instead of your heart?
It does.
Automatically, you're telling them everything that I did for you was so that I would get something out of this. And that shouldn't be the way
Yeah.
any healthy relationship should be. It shouldn't be a transactional thing.
Boom. Holy crap.
So
That
Yeah,
was a big
my
boom.
wife, me and my son
Yeah.
are me and my son are so close because we'll have these open conversations. And not only will we do that with I do that with Terry, but you can get so close with another human being that you can actually giggle at the things that you thought hurt your feelings. You know what I mean? So my joke was been always with my sons as they both became black belts in martial arts. They were some of the best martial artists I've ever seen. They excelled at it until I found out that they were doing it to make me and Terry happy. And as soon as we figured that out, and I told them they didn't have to do that anymore. See how weird that is? That I thought they enjoyed it. I thought, well, they enjoyed it because they wanted to be good at it. But then all of a sudden, when you look at things, you're going, wow, you're doing that for me? And so the joke after we stopped doing martial arts, guess what we did every Saturday together? Me and my sons and my wife. We all watched the UFC fights. If you're in martial arts, why in the hell wouldn't you watch the fights? As soon as we got clear on that, and they were no longer in martial arts, ever since then, and God, Matt, how old were you when you guys stopped doing martial arts?
Maybe like 16 or 17. I don't remember.
Right, so
exactly.
half his life. So let's say for the last 15 years, the biggest joke I do with him and his brothers is I go, hey, there's a championship fight happening tonight. You want to watch it? And they both giggle and go, no, thanks. And it's an internal funny thing between us because it's like, I used to want my wife to watch races with me.
Because you want to experience things with the people that you love.
Right.
But
and she's going, I'm not tired. I'm going, what? And it's like, you only can make so many left turns in 3 hours. You know what I mean? And it's like, I understand what you're saying, Lisa. It's like when you're wrapped up in someone that you love more than anybody else, really honestly, not really allowed to be brutally honest with you. So now what they're doing is they're walking on eggshells because you're not there for me. We don't get to spend any time. How far can we go? Do you really love me? Honestly, is this just been a bullshit relationship this entire time? See, we can make it really, really bad because we're trying to get them. Listen, all you're trying to do is to get Fred to do something.
That's true. That's true. I have no right to do that.
So when you make the decision, I don't need you, weird things are going to happen. That's all I'm going to tell you is when Fred figures out, just like me, you guys know that Terry really doesn't have much to do with the network marketing thing. He just doesn't. And then I go, hey, I qualified for a trip to Cancun for 7 days. We're going to this Moon Palace, supposed to be one of the best ones out there. And the company paid for everything. Am I going to this event by myself? No, I ain't coming with you. See, so, it's like, but my first response to her is always, am I booking for two? I'm just asking. You know
what? I want to share this too. Not once have I in my life, you guys, have I ever seen my dad be upset at my mom for saying, no, I don't want to go to this.
Aww.
And I think that at least from my memory, I can't remember a time of that happening. And why? Because he respects her enough as a person that if she doesn't want to go, he's not going to force her to be there because that's not going to make it better. Right.
Yeah, thank you so much thanks so much for saying that. And now I'm going to give you the real picture of Bobby Hollis. All right. Because that's the one he knows. Right.
I don't know Bobby Hollis. I know Robert Hollis.
Hearing my spiritual quest, I'll even call it my religious quest to find the truth. I wanted to find the truth. If you guys knew how many religions I've been in, it cracked you up because I wanted to find the truth. So when I thought I found it at one time, not only did, I don't want to use the word force it because there was no pulling a hair or bruises. You know what I mean? But I literally forced her to go to church with me. And not only when we were walking to church, but I would be holding a Bible and I was telling her, you should carry it. And then when we're getting in there, every one of you that are laughing has been in this situation, because now I'm elbowing her during the sermon to see if she's freaking getting this. Because if there's anybody that needs this damn message, it's her, right? So there's only one way that you could make that worse, is when they do the altar call and you're nudging, don't you think you should get up there, give your life to Jesus? You know, I had to work through that stuff, and that's why Matt never seen any of that stuff.
Mhm.
But at the beginning, all I can tell you guys is that Terry's father passed away. And when he was going through a lot of bad stuff with his cancer and stuff, my wife prayed harder than she's ever prayed in her life. And she just felt like that if you're not going to help me with my father, then I really don't need to be hanging around you anymore. And so I've learned, and when I had two sons, I learned from my wife through that experience that never did I ever push my beliefs or what I believe in God. I never, ever pushed that on Matt and his brothers, ever.
Right. Yeah. That was very, very helpful. Both of you. Thank you.
No, and I mean,
well, not only to know where we are now, but to know that both Matt and I, as human beings, Lisa Marie, were in, bad situations. I know Matt would say the same thing, but I look back, and if you guys ever hear me talk about how awful of a human being I was when I met his mom, I didn't know how to process why the whole world was against me, why everyone had to abandon me. So I wasn't a good person. I was the person that got satisfaction, really honestly, out of not only verbally, but physically hurting people. That's why I was so good in martial arts. So if I got someone stunned or hurt, it's a knockout, and it's fast. I'm super aggressive. So then I got my two sons that love people, and I don't know why they're not hurting people. We
got like the opposite upbringings.
Yeah, it was like they got, so like, I'm like,
we wake up and give hugs to
where's
each
the
other,
killer instinct? And they're like, Kyle said, listen, the guy's not very good. If the only way I score points as a black belt is by hurting another human being, I don't want to hurt him. And I'm like, why not? I think you guys see that's not me today, right? So Lisa Marie, not only I know this has helped you, but we'll say one thing and then we'll move on. There's you being happy, you being full of joy, you being ecstatic about what you're creating will make people want to be around you.
Right, exactly.
And so that's why you got to get your eye on the ball. And this is what I'm going to achieve. And you keep focusing on it, get emotional about it. And to be honest with you, the less that Fred's in that picture, the better.
Yeah, I'm
getting
that.
Then all of a sudden it's like, what do we, I was thinking that you and I could go do some camping and stuff this weekend. Can't do it. Why? Well, I'm doing a big thing at Buddy's place.
Right.
Got a band coming in. We're doing some charity stuff, whatever. Really? I didn't know about that. Well, I didn't know you cared.
Ouch. Yeah.
She goes, ouch. Yeah. And it's like, well, maybe I can help you. Maybe I can do some stuff. What would you like to do? I sure wouldn't want you doing stuff you don't want to do.
Right.
See, now,
he's gonna be all over Buddy's place. He's gonna
Oh, yeah.
love it.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So thank you for bringing this up, Lisa Marie, because I'm
Yeah,
sure
thank you
I'm sure
guys
people
very
will
much.
watch it for years and really get what you're saying out of that. It's hard. It's
It
hard
is.
because the only other thing that I can quickly say is understand that every time you feel, comes back to feeling. Every time you feel you need somebody else's support, you do not have a clear vision on what you want to accomplish.
Right. I get that now. That
That
it was
you
like a
don't.
game.
Because
Yeah.
now what you do is you go, well, if I only had more help from Melody, and if only Robert would help me more. And only see, all of a sudden you got all these equations like Dana talked about. You're adding equations to the way that the universe can make it happen.
Right. We're disrupting it.
Yeah.
From
So what you do is you
flowing.
go, I want this to happen, and Fred has to do this. And the universe goes, I guess it's not going to happen.
Right.
Wasn't it in the chapter, the will and the furthering of the will?
Yes.
It's said in there. It's said in there, by manipulating someone against their will is like robbery.
And see, I thought Fred was doing this to me.
Yeah.
I did.
Yeah. And that's very convenient, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you could be the best Lisa Marie in the world as long as Fred gets his crap in a group. As long as
Yeah.
I love
Yeah,
you, Lisa Marie. Golly,
I love you
I feel
guys.
like you've grown more in the last week than you have since I've known you.
I've felt it. I have felt
Good.
it. It's been amazing. Thank you guys. Thank you both.
I love you.
Thank you so much, Lisa Marie. Appreciate you.
Okay, back to you, Matt.
Thanks, Dad, for your input.
You bet. Thank you.
So next in line, it looks like John, you got your hand raised. Is Mary next? It's just the way I see it on my screen. All right. We'll do Mary next. Mary, I'm going to ask you to unmute, and then you can share with us what you got from this chapter, or just in general from the experience.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yep.
I can hear you great.
Okay, perfect. Yay. So it's not so much, maybe it's not so much what I got from this chapter, but it's what I've gotten so far through this whole thing. I'm a little embarrassed, and Robert, please do not get mad at me.
I promise.
Okay. So, since, probably the end of December, beginning of January, every single day, the 6-phase meditation and the God memorandum. Well, life happened. I took on a second job, which I don't know why I did that. Money, probably. And things got busy and I stopped. Well, before I did that, every single day, in fact, I would message you screenshots of the numbers I would see. Every day I would see 1111 or I would see 333. I mean, multiple times a day, and everything was good. Everything was going right. All of a sudden I started getting money from places that I didn't expect it. And then I stopped, and then things started getting tough and things weren't going well. And then I started obviously listening to this and realizing what I did. And that was taking my eyes off the ball and not doing what I was doing to create what I was creating. So I wanted to share that. And the other thing I wanted to say, and it's kind of funny, I'm a little bit of a control freak, trying to get over that. But I had an author friend. I call him a friend. It's more like an acquaintance. We'd have Zooms, and it would be like a Zoom with kind of like this. And I don't know if you know the author, but his name is Richard Paul Evans. He's from Utah. Anyways, there was something that he had said which changed. He was going through something similar where he was kind of a control freak and things were not good. And he was trying to change people to his way, and it just kind of wasn't working. So, and problems with his wife. So what he realized he was going to do was every day he got up and he asked her, what can I do to make your day, to make you happy today? And she would be angry, and then she'd say, I want you to clean out the garage. And without hesitation, he would do whatever it was. The next day, what can I do to make your day today? And he would, this went on for a couple of weeks, he said. And finally, because he changed his attitude towards her and not trying to make her do things his way. Do you know what I mean?
Right.
So because he did that, it kind of changed, which is kind of, when we were talking about it, it just kind of reminded me of that, and that we really can't change people. They are there to live their lives and to do what is there to make them happy. And we just have to find a way to kind of coexist and make each other happy, and them doing their things and us doing our things. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. It totally makes sense. When this book was published, how is that working? Is believe it or not, I'll just say it and you guys can laugh. The how is it working? Dr. Phil stole that from me. I'm just going to say that. No, I don't know if he did or not, but the funny thing was always is he would have couples or people that were like, why isn't she doing this, or why isn't he doing this, or why my son isn't doing this. And it's funny how people will get on there and they just vent all the stuff of why they're angry at whoever they're angry at. And then he says, he only would say two things. The first one would say, so what have you done to make this better? And he would tell them all the stuff that they wasn't supposed to be doing. You know what I mean? They would say, well, I told her that she needed to do this and she needed to do that. And if she didn't do that and this, and if he didn't do that, and, maybe this marriage is over and da, 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 da. And then he would go, so that's not working. What you're currently doing is not working. And they go, well, of course it's not working. That's why we're on the show. But it was always funny. It's like, if this is the common thought that you need to do, that you think that you need to better your life, and it's not doing that, why would you try something different? Why wouldn't you do something different? So Mary, first of all, I don't have to be mad at you because you beat yourself up more than I could ever beat you up. Right?
I am back on track though, just so you know, I'm back on track.
and I think a better way of explaining to each and every one of you is that a majority of the stuff that we know runs, usually has to be plugged in. And so the best analogy that I can give you, Mary, is that, I think I shared the story one time, and I don't remember if it was on this series, but an elderly gentleman at the time waited for me to get off stage. And he walked up to me and he said, you see those roll of black things over there? And he wanted me to say the name. And I said, you mean the speakers? And he goes, yeah, if you looked at the speakers, every one of them have a wire that goes to the amplifier. And the amplifier pushes the music or the words that people speak into a microphone through that amplifier. So the amplifier is hooked to something that sends it a signal in the message. And what people don't realize is not that I just think that they should read the chapter every night before they go to bed, or listen to it, or get up and listen to the 6 phase meditation. I just know the majority of the people, Mary, are not plugged in all day.
Exactly.
So if I can get them to plug in for 20 minutes at night and 20 minutes in the morning, if I can just get them to frickin' plug in and get the message that I'm a miracle. I got this. If it worked for others, the biggest thing that I've gotten out of the science of getting rich, you guys, is when I figured out how many other people have read this book and studied this book to make their lives come true. So, you always seem to find the right things that you need. So when all of a sudden, I thought that I wanted to take my meditation to another level. It was only then when I heard that this transmental meditation, and then all of a sudden I found out that Jerry Seinfeld's doing it, and some of the biggest directors on the planet are doing it, and singers are doing it, and actors are doing it. And I think it's tomorrow, morning, Matthew McConaughey is going to be on with Tony Robbins and this Dean guy doing a free thing. And I've already heard some small things that he's done with other personal development people. And this is constant thing that his little mantra is just keep on living. Just keep on living. Tom Hanks, his mantra is this too will pass. This too will pass. They all got these little mantras that they say that when things get rough, and they are going to, that there's got to be this reset button and something that you can do. So when I heard Jerry Seinfeld said every day when they went to lunch, people would not notice that he would go into a room all by himself and meditate. And he said, no one ever caught him. He said, we go on a break for 30 minutes. I would go meditate for 20 minutes and then grab whatever we had to get at the writing table. And I would sit down and eat while we were discussing things that we were writing that was going to be in the next Seinfeld episode. And he goes, no one ever got mad at me for eating at the table. And he said, but I never, ever, ever miss my 20 minutes of meditation.
Yeah, well, I won't again either.
Yeah. And have I lapsed? Oh, hell yeah. Oh, heck yeah. I just get a little more. So now I'm looking for other ways to, and it's fun. Terry and I just finished a 28-day course that me and her did together with Vision Lakhani on Jose Silva's Silva method. And it was good, but not good enough for me to promote. And I even got an affiliate link.
I've heard of that, but
yeah,
I like this better.
It really, all I can say is that there's a majority of it puts you in a place where if you like doing ESP and reading other people's mind, and then the final stages gets to the point where if you wanted to be a healer, if you wanted to be somebody that did, not only long distance healing, but lay hands on people and heal people, that's the depths that it gets into.
Wow.
And so even though I've learned some stuff, but all the stuff that I learned is stuff that, believe it or not, I learned from the 6-phase meditation. If you guys do the 6-phase meditation, that's the Silva method chunked down into a little bit, unless you want to be a person that practices a lot on trying to visualize where people are hurting and heal them that way. But yet during that whole thing, he said, don't forget that this stuff does not replace a medical doctor. So, so Mary, I don't be mad at yourself. And it's funny when you really trust yourself, Mary. When I first met you, you have grown so much because you trust yourself. I love when people say, I got sort of busy and then I got this second job and I really don't know why I did. Yeah, it's the money. Yeah, see, you'll notice that the more honest you are with yourself and other people, when you say something that isn't true, there's always a follow-up immediately. Yeah. So you guys will notice I'll say stuff like, I think there's 90% of the people are not sales. No, listen, I don't know what the hell the number is. A lot of people are not sales types because I thought I knew the number, right? And then AI tells me a different number and I was going like, where's AI getting this number? So I know the word majority of people are not sales type. See, and you learn to not have to do the things that automatically gets us to say, no, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? That's what you know is like when you go, well, I don't know why I got this second job. And I'm sure, Mary, when you got that second job, your body's trying to adjust to that. You're expending a lot of energy. You love people. So, so now all of a sudden you're expending more energy. And so when you get home, you might just want to curl up and go to bed. You know what I mean? And when you get and so for things,
it's not worth it.
Yeah. So yeah, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of you. I'm not mad at you. All right.
Thank you so much.
I love you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mary, and thank you, Dad. Like I iterated on earlier, and I'm learning this myself, Mary, is it's just, like I said, don't grab onto rocks. Try your best to keep going the direction that you're supposed to be going in. Because I think we all question ourselves from time to time, and we're going like,
never
man,
stop.
this is going so well. Odds are something bad's about to happen, right? Like, and I don't know why we do that, right? It's probably the animal part of our brain that's like, you got to be prepared just in case if something bad happens. But
I know exactly what it is, Matt.
Please share.
It's that part inside of us that loves uncertainty. There's a part of our lives where we do something we know we're not supposed to do, and then we're so surprised that it got the wrong result. It's just hilarious to me that we're just human beings and we go, you know what? I don't think that makes any difference. I'm just going to fricking stop doing that. And then it's easy to connect the dots. Once you start doing it again, you're going like, man, I blew that off for a long time. And I'll tell you, I'll be brutally honest. You guys know I am. I just didn't think I was really getting the benefits that I wanted to get out of walking. You know what I mean? I was going like, listen, so I lost 17 pounds, but then I always plateau. You know what I mean? And I'm going, I'm really don't see the benefits out of not walking. It doesn't make any sense to me. 6 months later, I'm regretting it. I because even if I was just going to drop 17 pounds and just be around that 270 mark, even though I believe that's too heavy for myself, God, I felt so much better. I just really mentally felt better. And that was like a whopping, 31 minutes on my watch. Matt even helped me out. He's the one, him and get me to watch, Dad, start tracking this. And it was funny because I'll bring something else up, as soon as Matt and Hannah and my son, Kyle and Terry all got me this watch. You got to be creative, not competitive, right? So what I did is I immediately made every one of them partners on my watch, and then I kicked their ass every day.
No, right. I was making up all these excuses too. I was like, well, he's heavier than me, so he burns more calories, which is true, but still not an excuse for me not working out more. And now I'm in a similar spot to you, Dad, where it's like that, man, I had such a great string of exercising and I felt so great. Exercise is just a good example of this, right? Because we feel it physically so much, but it's like, I just started lifting weights again and exercising again. I wake up the next day and I'm like, it's going to take me 2 days to recover from what I just did. 2-3 days. I can't even. Oh my God.
It's funny the reasons we do the things we do, and then it's even funnier when we stop them and then have to restart back up. And
and I live in Southern California.
On this, finding this whole chapter's about getting in the right business, right? And that's one word you guys got to throw away. It's like experiment and do things and see if they're fulfilling enough for you to continue to do them. And if you just drop it, I love telling people all the time, hey, you know what? I just don't think you like people. And they're going, no, I love helping people. There is no evidence of that. There's zero evidence that you want to help other people. Well, what do you mean? Well, you won't even connect with a stranger. No, I mean, I just like helping people. Yeah, if they'll do what you tell them to do. If you get to control them, that's the kind of people you love to help. But when they won't listen to you. So that's great, Matt. I'm going to turn it back over to you. Let's get this going.
Yeah, awesome. Thank you so much, Mary. I appreciate you. Thank you, Dad, for your input as well.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so we
Dad,
have one more
yours is-
hand raised. One more hand raised. It's John Tier. John, I'm going to ask you to unmute. Ooh, and Dana's coming up too.
Yeah.
Please share with us,
Hey guys,
John.
man, there's a lot of stuff going on here that I've lived a lot of this stuff in, and it's really, really interesting. But Matthew, it took me about 40 years to get to where you are like now.
I'm still working on it too. There's
Yeah,
stuff I guarantee I can learn
and
from you.
man, I tell you, because my son's a little bit older than you are, and my daughter's about around the same age, and it's funny. I had to try not to impress upon them what I feel they should be doing.
Right. Oh, as a parent?
Yes. And I talked to a good friend of mine. He's a minister, and he said, I told him, I said, man, my kids are grown. They don't need me anymore. And he said, no, they just need you in a different way. And that was probably one of the best pieces of advice that he could have given me. And I said, man, I have to let them be who they are. Even if I don't agree with them, I have to let them be who they are. I have to let them bump their heads. I have to, as much as you want to go and grab them.
Listen, that's a landmine. This is going to hurt. And you just got to shut up and, hey, Dad, I stepped in a landmine. Yeah.
And I try to make sure I don't say I told you so. I just say, well, I love you anyway. You figured it out. You figured out, a way not to do something. And so, I remember my daughter told me one time, her mom told me she had failed a class. And she's like, she didn't want to tell Dad. I don't want to tell Dad I failed a class. She said, her mom told her, like, if you don't tell him, I'm going to tell him. So she was in college. And when she told me, she said, well, Dad, I failed a class. I said, that's okay. I said, I failed plenty of classes in college. It's no big deal. I said, but when you take it over, guess what? You're going to know more than the other people because you've already had some of the lessons already.
I did the same thing.
And so my thing about it is, because I remember having a book, Failing Forward. And the thing about it is, you got to understand, our society tries to punish you for failing, but the only way you learn is through failure. That's just how we are, because we're not perfect. So we can't do everything perfect the first time. It's just not going to happen. But our society acts like, oh, no, failure is bad, but it's not. That's how we learn stuff. So
yeah, they put those big red marks and an F on our piece of paper,
right?
And then not only did they do that, why do they got to hand it out to everybody and tell everybody?
Right.
It's like, hey, and there were I remember being in classes where they graded by the curve.
Yeah.
And what a stupid idea. But I remember being the reason that the curve went low. You know what I mean? It was like, well, everybody, let's give Bobby a hand. The curve went down. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, you guys are all welcome.
They call it the bell curve. Well, who's Bell?
Yeah. Yeah. And so thanks for sharing that, John.
This chapter reminds me of old man wisdom, because there's so much wisdom in this chapter. And when it was coming across, I was just listening. I felt like I was listening to an old sage tell you, the right kind of business is the business that you're in. Just make sure that you have the talent to do the business. And if you don't have the talent, become more in where you are so that you can go out and do what you need to do.
Right.
And it was just, I felt like some old guy was just kind of floating in the air and telling me, exactly what was going on in this particular chapter. And you talk about changing your state. I woke up this morning, and I woke up out of what we consider to be a bad dream. And I felt, the anger from that dream. And I was like, why am I having that dream? And immediately I said, you know what? I'm going to just start praising. I'm going to just start saying, thank you for the experience. And immediately when I did that, wisdom dropped in my head. and it said to me, that's the old programming fighting against the new programming.
Totally.
And it's like it doesn't want to be erased, but it's being erased. And so it's showing up on a subconscious level because it understands what's going on with you consciously. And I started praising. I started thanking. I said, you know what? Thank you, Lord, for the experiences that I did have. I just really started, and then all of a sudden my whole emotions changed.
Bing.
You know, yeah, it just switched, and I felt good. I was like, oh, so that's what that is. Because at first I was like, well, what is going on with that? Why am I dreaming about this stuff, this bad stuff that I used to have? And it immediately, it's the old programming. It's just trying to hang around. That's all.
Again, unlimited infinity ways to steal the joy immediately.
Yeah. Yep.
as the more I challenge myself, John, and push myself into doing things I've never done, my dreams, I used to probably call them bad dreams. I don't anymore. But my dominant dreams is I'm a person trying to figure out something. I'm always in a frickin' maze and people are chasing me and I got this time that I got to do it. And it's like my brain goes into overdrive and Mission Impossible. You know what I mean? Dun, dun. And I'm just like, and it's like, of course it's a dream. So whatever I'm trying to figure out, I never figure out, you know what I mean? And it could be something like as simple as me trying to get on an airplane. You know what I mean? It's like, I can't find the gate. I can't, I'm going through this and they won't let me take my suitcase. And it's just this constant thing of me trying to not lose myself. The classic thing would be, just to pull out some kind of military thing and just blow everyone away. I don't do that in my dreams, but that's always seemed to me like that could have been a really easy way to solve that situation. So at least I'm not violent anymore. But yeah, and just all the stuff of just constantly as you keep changing and get more plugged in and keep changing the frequency and keep dialing into another frequency and going to another level and keep dialing in frequencies. It's like every stage or every level has to have another wonderful becoming.
Yeah.
It's like, what else do we have to do on this planet than to try to figure that out? And so this chapter, when it said, I think that everyone, once they have a clear vision that can consistently change of what you want to do in 3 years, and you're focused on that, is just understand that there's a lot of ways that can come to you, that instead of you just fixing on a way that this has to be, I keep coming back to it because there's 3 major things for me. One is the more people I help, the more income I have, the more freedom I have. And I just know that as I move forward, I've always looked at this kind of marketing as the kindergarten and the elementary, the middle school of entrepreneurship, because they have this phrase that that network marketing or multi-level is a personal development program with a compensation plan, and you get to earn while you learn. And most people do it part-time. The majority of the people do it part-time. So it really makes you have to identify the things that you're not good at, the skills that you're not good at. It even makes you aware of stuff that you didn't know. I mean, when I was sharing stuff with Matt, and I told him one of the books that I loved the most as I was going on my journey is How to Win Friends and Influence People. And Matt not only read that book, but has read it multiple times and immediately turned into a different person. Immediately. And I was going like, wow, what happened to you? And he says, well, people weren't having fun having conversations with me. I was the right fighter. I knew everything. I would do my research. I would make people feel inadequate because I knew more than they knew. And I just realized that it was making me feel good that I knew more than other people and I was a better debater than them. But then no one wanted to be around me anymore. And so Matt, I watched Matt immediately change from that awareness in the study of that book, where he would generally become concerned, and you could tell that he was concerned. On what do you feel about this, John?
Mm-hmm.
You know, where are you coming from? And he didn't have the need anymore to prove that you were wrong in your thinking. He was just trying to help you further where your next step was going to be.
Absolutely.
And, there's nothing that gives a father more joy or a parent more joy than to see someone see that they got to learn something new. They go and tack it, and then they study it, and then they start really getting good at it.
Yeah.
So Matt's gone from a person like me and Matt would get in debates where our wives would get up and just walk away.
I can't even remember the last time that's happened too. It's been so long, and that book did have a large part to do with that. But even what you shared earlier, John, with how you dealt with your daughter failing a class by sharing that you had failed classes. I think, I don't have any kids myself, but I've seen growing up and having friends and everything, different styles of parenting. And you've got like the superhero parent that never wants to not be a superhero. So they never talk about any of the mistakes they've made because it's like, I want to be an authoritarian figure, as if like that doesn't make them just rebellious, like anybody.
Yeah.
Right. And I've seen that, but I think it's really, really humbling and amazing that you share that you've been there and that you've made those mistakes and that it's not a big deal. And you're like, listen, I'm alive. I'm still here. And I think that really, really, I've had a similar thing with my dad. And I think as I grow, I want to do the same. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. And it's funny because you can really love somebody. And, this even goes back to a little bit of what Lisa Marie was talking about. My ace in the hole was always when I felt like Matt had me backed into a corner, that I could just say, listen, I got 20 years of experience and wisdom on this planet that you don't have.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's like, you don't know that you don't know. And it's like, that card's like worthless.
I think we both knew what that end game was. And
yeah, it was like, there's nothing worse than having someone give you a perspective where you pretty much would have to say, you know what, Matt, I never looked at it that way. And now that you brought that to my awareness and my attention, I agree with you. See, that would have been something that I could have learned to say to him 20 years ago. You know what I mean? But now it's like, now he's got me, here. But he's got me, but there's no way I'm going to admit that he's got me.
Well, like, I think we both grew and learned that you just reflect on the way that your behavior impacts the people that you care about.
Yeah.
It's like, if you keep going through this vicious cycle of like fighting with the people that are close to you, odds are you are 50% of the problem, if not more.
You're right.
it just takes you, like, even what was shared earlier. It's like, okay, how can I help my wife? She's mad at me. I'll go clean the garage type of thing. Cause that's what she would help her. Right. And showing that through action that you care, it's similar, right? You just have to keep on showing through positive action instead of negative and trying to get them to do what you want. So.
John, anything else you'd like to share? That was good.
I think we lost John, actually. I'm not seeing his camera or anything anymore.
I think he's in shock. Well,
we can wait a second for him and see if he comes back. If not, we'll just I think what he shared so far,
we'll close it out with Dr. Dana.
Absolutely. Yeah, it looks like he fell out of here. So I appreciate what you said, John, what you shared. Thank you so much, Dad, for your input as always. I'm going to ask Dana to unmute so we can all get our daily dose of wisdom.
Okay. Well, I don't know that I can better all the wisdom that's been unloaded here today. My gosh. The one thing I would say is just from my observation, the chapters of this book are basically the seeds, and your mind is the soil. What you do with that mind, well, that's going to determine how the seeds grow into what you want. So that's one of the things about this chapter, getting into the right business. When I read this book the first couple of times, it was a little confusing to me on this chapter, as with some of the others, but because he was talking about getting into the right business from a context of 123 years ago. That was a different time. In that era, those people did not have all the resources that we have at our disposal. When they're talking about getting into a business, like a 10-acre farm to go raise produce, a 10-acre farm wouldn't do anything but feed yourself today.
Right.
So there are all these little examples in there that kept coming up in my mind. And then it dawned on me that go back and look at the principles of what he's teaching. The principles are immutable. They transcend the time and the paradigm. So here in the 21st century, 123 years later, we've got a lot of different things going on. The principles are the same. But now we have options, more options.
Yeah.
And so getting into the right business, as kind of was discussed here, a little bit of that has to do with clarity. You got to know what you want, why you want it, and then design, take control, and design the experiences of life that will get you what you need to achieve that. If that means getting into the right business is a 6-month endeavor, that's just a platform to get you where you want to go. And I think part of what happens is people are looking for the quick fix. We live in a one-click society, one-click gratitude, one-click shopping. That's inconsistent with achieving your dreams, because your dreams are a moving target to a certain extent. The more success you enjoy, the bigger your dreams get. The closer you get to that dream, that desire, it gets a little bigger and a little bigger. It's there, but it's not a one-click phenomenon. So this chapter teaches us you got to be in a state of clarity, knowing what, knowing why, having the guts. You call it failure. I call it designing experiences.
Yeah, good.
Experience designed with intent is going to produce a result that you will look at and say, okay, that was a botch or that was a success. But we're stigmatized with the word failure. Many years ago, I was consulting with Samsung, and Samsung being a Korean company, if you know Koreans, you know that they're very hierarchical. They are very respectful up the chain of experience and age. And to fail in a Korean company is to have your head handed to you. That is the only country that I've done business in all over the world where I walked into a semiconductor fab and watched an operator being beaten by his supervisor, physically beaten for making a mistake. It's the only country that ever happened in. In Japan, they would very quietly put you in a corner office and say goodbye. In Korea, they just beat the hell out of you. But the point being is failure is stigmatized in this world that we have today, but we have more options than ever before to create our dreams without having to worry about failure. They are experiences that we design to get where we want to go if we're willing to step up, read the book, plant the seed, and accept that the principles will work. So that's really, I got a list of things here, but I'm not going to go through them because, it's just more time than we have. But there's one thing that I know Robert used to teach, and it's relevant here. And it's the 4 steps of learning, right? The unconscious incompetence, the conscious incompetence, the conscious competence, and then the unconscious competence, those stages. Well, to a certain extent, that's what we're talking about here. To get into the right business is to realize where you are in those 4 categories, and then to deliberately use that business to get you to the state of unconscious competence in your journey to where you're going. And Robert's proven it time and time again. It's a simple process. as long as you keep your mind in the game and keep other people's hands and words and actions out of your noodle, out of your brain. You have responsibility for your clarity, your purpose. Nobody else but you can make that decision. Nobody can get into the right business but you. Nobody knows what that right business is. Only you know that. And the creator. Hand it over. Know why, know what, and let the how and the when funnel in. So I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you, Robert. Thank you, Matthew. Man, you're like this sage dude sitting back there in purple with a, do you have a lava lamp back there somewhere? No.
Not yet.
All right. Well, thank you.
No. Thank you so much, Dana.
Thank you, Dana. Yeah, there's I don't know how you can switch the paradigm in your brain on this concept of failure. If there's anything that I can tell you guys is that I don't remember where I learned this from, Dana. Maybe I just remember someone telling me that the easiest way, to find out what you want in life is by first figuring out what you don't want. And so I continue to step into arenas and do I'm willing to be humble. I'm willing to be coachable. I'm willing to mirror and match other people's success and step into their realm. I'm really blessed to have the ability to look at what someone else is doing and be able to throw away all of my ideas on how to get there and just follow a proven path and just be consistent, have a great work ethic, and really make it work. And then realize immediately that I do not want that. And what's really funny is I know that a lot of you probably have heard this, but if you ever work hard enough and consistent enough to get into the inner circle of any industry on this planet, you're going to find out stuff that you do not like. It's the bizarrest thing. So I remember, paying a lot of money. Max and I, we people, I listened to the ideas that there was a lot of authority by being not only a author of a book, but also doing the marketing and the stuff you needed to do to get it to a category of #1 and on Amazon. And me and Max paid a lot of money. We learned all this stuff from Brendan Burchard that had a best-selling book, and worked our butt off, did all the stuff that we needed to. People that reread it and read it, and we kept changing it, said that it was one of the most impactful books that they've read. And then we show up at this thing with a bunch of people that are publishers, and they read the book, and about a majority of them, I would say probably 7 out of 10 of them that read the book, scanned it, said that they just were not comfortable publishing a book that had some stuff in it about network marketing. And so the one question that they kept coming up with is they go, you still have a raise the riches story. Do you really feel like it has to have network marketing in it? And what was hilarious is the 3 categories we hit #1 in had nothing to do with network marketing. And so it was pretty hilarious. But then we meet a couple of guys, they were the biggest ones, and they sat down, and then this ugly truth came out. And this ugly truth was, so not only do you want it #1 on the Amazon list, but you would also like it on the New York Times bestseller list. And I said, yeah. And they go, we've done that over and over again. And they showed me examples of all these people, including Brendan Burchard, that they had done it with. And for a small fee of $35,000, that they had enough data to know which day that there wasn't a lot of books, or they were going to the end of their marketing and none of them were being launched. But they had this data figured out that if you gave them $35,000, that they could purchase enough books through the way that they understood that books were counted to make your book a New York bestseller. That destroyed me. that destroyed the myth, the whole concept of, oh my God, I'm a best-selling author on New York Times. I didn't know that could be purchased. See how fast that just went. Well, I go, I'm not interested in doing that. And he said this straight to me and Max. I'll never forget it. He goes, you will not get on that New York Times best-selling list without paying somebody. And this is the ugly truth that we find out when we keep working and working and working and get up to that plateau of the journey that I thought that I wanted to be. See what I mean? If I'm a best-selling author, that turns into a TED Talk, that could turn into, speaking on stages, not about network marketing, but just a philosophy and understanding of what you need to do to be the best person you can be. And bam, just like that, I realized that that's not the only path, and that's not the path that I want to take. Then I hear another thing. This comes down to the other part of the thing where someone was saying, well, can I ask you a question without you being offended? I said, yeah, I want to know all the truth now. And they go, there's less than 1% of the people that make a full-time income off being an author. Why did you do this? Did you do this to make money? And I went, no. Well, why did you do it? Because someone told me that if I was an author of a best-selling book, that would give me authority, and I needed authority to build an audience. And they frickin' laughed at me. Me and Max were there, and they're going like, you didn't fall for that stupid joke, did you? It was like, So, spent a lot of money with Brendan Burchard. I even got the pictures with Brendan Burchard that no one's seen. You know what I mean? He liked me so much, and I was promoting him so much that I ended up being on his PBS special. It was a journey that I took, that I excelled at, that I learned, that I went out and did what I was told to do. And that's not the direction that I want in my life. You guys get that? So the only thing that I really have over you is honestly more journeys that I've taken and realized that that's not my direction. You look at it as failing. I'm looking at it as something that I don't do. I mean, I wish Matt and I could actually keep track of how many books we've given away, how many digital copies and physical copies of the book we've given away. Because that would be, I think that's in the hundreds of thousands. And so that's the reason for the book. The reason for the book is I have my life story in there of rags to riches that I believe that some people can follow, that will either inspire them or at least give them some of the things that I did to make it happen. So that's just one of the journeys that I shared with you here today, that you just got to make sure that everything you're doing is a means to the end. See? You got to be so full of joy and so emotionally charged about the experiences that you're going to have for yourself or your family, and you're going to hit this plateau. And if it is about impacting a lot of people, then let it be that. But when you put that out there, just know that there's a lot of journeys that you'll end up taking that might not be the ones, and that has nothing to do with failure. Because the skills I learned from every single thing I did, including being a mechanic, has gotten to me where I am today. So to think that you could get such to the point where you can look at every tragedy and every trauma that happened in your life is, wow, I'm glad that happened to me. So even though it talks in this chapter about getting in to the right business, Dana couldn't have said it better. It's like, I never thought of the concept where, man, there's a lot of things you can do right now to generate income. The problem is you got to do them. You got to, and my suggestion to each and every one of you is I'd rather you look for a person you can mirror and match. Put that thought out that if I want Buddy's place, since we're talking to Lisa Marie or St. Jude's, you know, what John's talking about, you know what I mean? Or helping your grandchildren like Bill Shoemaker talked about. When you're thinking about that thing that you're going to accomplish, just understand that it can be multiple paths that you need to look at to make that happen. And when you come to me, I'm going to be biased by one of those ways to make it happen because it just is a theme of mine, right? It's a theme of mine where I tried this and it didn't work. So then when I went out and tried this, then I go back to this. The common denominator in my story is that I consistently come back to a place that I can help people get in for free. They can learn at their own time, and they can learn the skills they need to learn how to connect with people and help those people create a vision that they can help them accomplish. You know what I mean? So I just look at this as a good starting place. I don't know of a better vehicle. So with that, I have nothing more to say. Thank you so much, Dana. Thank you, each and every one of you. And Matt, I guess I'll let you close it out. It'll probably be pretty quick. See you guys.
Thank you guys so much for being on. Thank you, Bill, Dana, Lisa Marie, Mary, John. Thank you guys so much for sharing. Dad, thank you for sharing your wisdom with us as well.
Matt,
I appreciate all of you guys for being on here. And this experience, you know, like I feel like I shared even more than normal on here. And I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity to do that as well. So thank you guys so much. We'll be back here tomorrow, 1 p.m. Pacific time, 4 p.m. Eastern time. Go to roberthollis.com/live to sign up and get on here. Sorry about the dog. And we'll see you on there tomorrow. So thank you guys so much. Thank you. Appreciate you. Have a great.
I just unmuted all of you. Say goodbye. Thank you, Dana.
Thanks, everybody.
Matthew.
Hi, guys.
Thank
Thank
you
you.
so much.
Love you.
Thanks,
Bye, guys.
Bill, Michael,
Thank you.
Lisa, Jerome,
Awesome.
Corky, Ty.
Love you
John,
guys.
Time to watch nice
Thank you,
NASCAR.
Robert. Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Matt.
Thank you so much, Danielle. Thank you,
Thank you.
Fahad. Thank you, Daniel.
Mhm.
Melody, I love you. Dustin.
I think
Rebecca.
Corky said it's time to watch NASCAR, Dad.
Yeah. All right. Love you guys. Talk to you later. Matt,
Love you
did
too.
a
Thank you.
great job, man.